obviously we're here today to discuss something super important. As you've seen over the holidays, I'm sure much of you having the opportunity to be in your constituencies over these past couple of weeks have had the opportunity to meet, listen, maybe catch some phone calls, have some coffee chats, worked in your constituency offices to hear sort of the struggles that are happening in and around our country. Some genuine suffering that is happening. Christmas time is a very difficult time for a lot of people in my community of Peterborough, Kawartha. We obviously have a lot of suffering happening with increased homelessness, etc., seniors on fixed incomes. But today we call this meeting, as Conservatives have put forth a motion, an emergency meeting to resume this committee, because one of the things we can do effectively as our role in official opposition is to call out the government when they've made promises to Canadians. And the promise that was made was that cell phone bills would not increase. And we've seen a significant disparaging. We've seen that not come true right now, basically with what's happening. So we've put forth a motion, which we're going to be discussing here today. And in regard to the motion that my colleague, Mr. Perkins, has put forward in relation to recent reports that Rogers will increase customer cell phone bills following a pledge by Rogers CEO Tony Staffieri that prices are going to come down as part of the $26 billion Rogers-Shaw merger approved by the Liberal Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry after committee experts and the Competition Commissioner warned that the deal would lead to higher prices for consumers. The committee therefore agrees to be immediately recalled to undertake a study of up to 4 meetings of at least 2 hours per meeting to study the impact of Liberal-approved merger, and that these meetings begin at the earliest opportunity and conclude by Friday, January 26th. Now, the motion goes on to say more, and I'm going to let my colleague read it into the record because it is his motion that he put forward. But what I wanted to say right off of the hop is, in doing some of this research, I'm a guest, obviously, on this Indu committee. But when we look at this article and our, the industry minister, the Liberal minister, he has on record, and this is, from reference from Melissa Tate from the Globe and Mail, and these are his words: if Canadians do not begin to see clear and meaningful reductions in price within a reasonable amount of time, I will have no choice but to seek further legislative and regulatory powers to drive down prices in Canada, Mr. Champagne said at the time. So my guess, and I'm assuming that Liberal MPs, NDP MPs, everyone across the board is going to support this motion, because the question from these comments is, what is a reasonable amount of time, especially in a cost of living crisis when 1 in 4 Canadians can't afford to pay their bills? That's according to another article. So that would be my first question about that. What is that reasonable amount of time? And I'm assuming there is support across all party lines to delve into this to help best support their constituents who are having a real hard time making ends meet, especially January. For those of you who know, this coming Monday is considered Blue Monday. The most depressing day of the year, when a lot of those credit card bills come due because people have had to use credit to pay for Christmas bills. So this is going to be a very challenging month and into the winter months to try to cover those costs. So this is the least we can do, is to ensure that people are not paying more for their cell phones that many people need. And I'm just going to end with this one other comment, because I think it's really important when we talk about cell phones. This was sent to me by Tracy Filtness Smart. And she said, I pay well over $250 a month for myself and my son's phone. We are both disabled and absolutely need this service. I think that's really important to have on the record, that this, for many people, this isn't a luxury. This is a lifeline of communication when we talk about cell service. But it's so hard to budget for it. Having my cell phone saved my life in 2019, as I had an aneurysm, rupture, and stroke, but was able to dial 911 in time to get medevaced out. My phone is always with me for this reason. I pray it doesn't go up in price more, or I'm not sure how we can continue to pay. I am sure there are many other people in this situation as well. I appreciate you for putting forth this motion, Mr. Perkins, she says. So with that, I'll leave it with my colleagues, but I really urge my colleagues today that this is our duty. We are here as elected representatives to ensure that Canadians have a life that is not a suffering, but is rather of an opportunity to live. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Ferrari. And